are some powerful Yu-Gi-Oh decks that you need to know about. Today, big dog, since we are in a tier 0 format, me and Chad are going to be talking about some really cool Yu-Gi-Oh decks that you could be playing to not only beat the meta, but strategies that could be crazy good after the ban list take care of the meta. Today, big dog, not only will we be talking about these decks and how powerful they can be against the meta, I'll also be putting personal deck lists on my Patreon as a special thank you for helping me pay my editors. Let's go ahead and jump on in. What's going on with y'all, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. By the way, since we're here with chat, do you guys know what today is? That's right, big dog. It's Update Monday, a particular time where we talk about something to not only better you as a person, but also better you as a Yu-Gi-Oh player so you could stay too strong. We haven't talked about this in a very long time, but I gotta tell you, this is another week of kicking rheumatoid arthritis' ass. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you guys about, your health. Look, man, your health is important, big dog. It is the most important thing to you because without it, you ain't gonna be here. And as much as I hate doctor's offices, I also hate hospitals. You gotta get regular updates on your health to make sure that you're okay. This seems like a really simple one, but I know a ton of people that do not get an update on their health, and I hope that nothing bad happens to them, but you want to catch something while it's early so it can be fixed before it's too late. Please, guys, do not put off that doctor's appointment. Do not put off that checkup. Get yourself checked up and up to date. Think of it like an update to your video game console, chat. You gotta update the console. It's annoying, but it helps out. Chat, he's attacking me in the video. Ducky, I paid you $10 and then another 10 cents to edit videos.
Get your Achilles situation fixed.
But that's where it brings us to where we are now. I'm going to be updating you on some Yu-Gi-Oh strategies that can very much compete. Chat is still ultra excited about what happened with Ancient Gears at the North American World Championship. So today we've devised some decks and some ways that they can be able to compete against the top decks, and we'll be talking about if they are cope or if they're straight cook. I think I'll go first. I actually realized that once the ban list comes out and Snake Eyes hopefully gets hit as well as some other strategies, that the Fiendsmith cards will probably still be incredibly valuable. And it's mainly because the Fiendsmith is a good engine for decks that use Fiend cards. I think that strategies like Yubel will still be incredibly popular, but I also think that there's another strategy that people have forgotten that could also be good: Chimera. Now, Chimera has not gotten the props that it deserves. It's a deck that has been regionally viable, and with the new Fiendsmith support, it could actually take it to another level. Keep in mind, Chimera can naturally summon level 6 monsters, and now since Fiendsmith can easily summon themselves as level 6, it means that Xyz plays are not off the table. Being able to make monsters like DDD Wave King Caesar or Evil Zor Lars is still really good. And one of the best things about Chimera is even if Beatrice does get banned, we still have ways to send cards from the deck to the graveyard. Perfament, the mythical king of Phantom Beasts, can send one beast, fiend, or illusion monster from your deck to the graveyard. A lot of people have been sending the Dark Barrier statue to summon itself, but with fiends becoming a lot more viable, I don't think that that's a wave. What I do think is a wave is being able to send and summon King Tiger Wangu to your side of the field. It literally is power filter against Yubel, and it should be able to handle a lot of the Snake Eyes problems because most of the monsters that they summon are under 1400 attack. This could be exactly what we need to be able to combat one of the best decks in the game if Konami doesn't decide to hit it right. My brother in Christ, you are overdosing on copium. How? It's solid. It is literally solid. Chat, I think if we had to put a percentage on copium, this would probably be closer toward the 20% cope-ish. Of course, Chimera still has its problems, and we are hoping on the ban list for things to go right, but I think that this deck can be genuinely valuable. Even right now, it's incredibly powerful. Fiendsmith Rescue Ace is like my relationship with my mom, non-existent. Yo, okay. So I will say this, apparently a Rescue Ace Fiendsmith deck did almost top the North American World Championship qualifier. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit against any deck that didn't top, and it's mainly because it didn't top. But to get that far and still be in the running of topping, you got to give it its credit. Hydrant alone is full Fiendsmith? How? So you summon Hydrant, Hydrant gets Rescue Ace Preventer, you link off to Anima, you summon Preventer. God damn, that is full combo. And if you guys didn't know, Rescue Ace Turbulence is still one of the most busted cards in the game. Not only does it get you 2 powerful trap cards, Contain and Extinguish, to be able to stop your opponent's big plays, it also gets you Rescue and Alert, which allows you to gain more resources. Turbulence then can get rid of a card if your opponent decides to get rid of a monster. This card is the ultimate boss card that can't be stopped if you lead off with Fiendsmith. It's just a little fire hydrant. What's the worst that could happen? Apparently full combo. Now on the cope meter, I think I gotta give you about 30% on that one. What about Tearlaments? It's starting to get annoying again and they keep coming back. Bro, I don't think Tearlaments will ever die. Didn't Tearlaments get like a top 32 at the World Championship? Chat, Tearlaments is now like $150. You're kidding me. Tearlaments is either the deck that you really love or you hate. I don't think that there's an in-between for anyone. And the Tearlaments deck that I'm looking at is just a normal Tearlaments deck. Chat, it plays no hand traps. It still plays the danger cards. How did this make top 64? I used to hate it, but then I tried it in Master Duel and it's pretty cool. And I think that that's the big problem with players in Tearlament. It's a fair Yu-Gi-Oh deck now, and it's really powerful. What I like the best about Tearlament is Tearlament Rukalos and its non-destruction ability, but also love that Tearlament Kaleidoheart can spin cards on summon. Tearlament is still a deck that can play on your opponent's turn, and when a top 64 chat, I think we have to give it like a 10% copium. I think that the deck will require an incredible pilot, but since it is kind of like a 40 card pile fusion deck, I think that there is some legitimacy to saying that Tearlament is really, really powerful. Molchummy is also a water. Take your ass home, bro. Take your ass home. I think another deck that was really good that topped the North American World Championship qualifier, I'm going to put some stock into it. And my meta tier list, I had it at can compete, and I still think it's a deck that can compete. Ritual Beast is crazy powerful. So the biggest thing about Ritual Beast is Dimension Shifter. Ritual Beast is the best deck to use Dimension Shifter right now because it genuinely does benefit from having its cards banished. But what I love about Ritual Beast is that its board breaker approach on the meta. Cards like Dark Ruler No More, Book of Eclipse, evenly matched, and even Ritual Beast Steeds allows you to be able to break boards or stop your opponent from making a board in time. It also plays another pretty toxic card in Nemesis Flag as well as Nemesis Corridor. The Nemesis Flag allows you to be able to search Archnemesis Protos, which can lock your opponent out of an entire attribute, and then Nemesis Corridor can be used to summon Thunder Dragon Colossus, which prevents your opponent from searching. So the deck is pretty toxic. All right, guys, how much cope do you guys think I'm on? What percentage of cope? 75% copium? There's no way. I think once players get a deeper understanding on how Fiendsmith works, we will start to take it to other strategies, which brings me to the next one that I want to talk about, and I'm telling you, it's not cope. In my last tier list, I talked about how Magical Musket Fiendsmith was nationals at home. I was wrong. I was actually fighting my own copium because, as you already know, Magical Musket is one of my favorite decks. Who said something about the muskets? We getting it on. But after a deep analysis, some testing, and seeing its success, I think we have to accept that Magical Musket is a really good deck that can go second, break boards, and make some power ones on its own. It fully incorporates the Fiendsmith engine and embraces Fiend cards, and is ridiculously good at countering some of the best decks in the game when going second. I think the cope meter on this particular deck is maybe 40%, but I think one of the biggest factors is once the ban list comes out, the deck will shine even more. We almost forgot to talk about Memento. This deck is kind of good. I know it only got one top, but I am a Memento believer, guys. In case you didn't know how Memento works exactly, you have to destroy your own Memento cards to get more Memento cards, and the more Memento cards you get into your graveyard, you can then fuse and stuff. Don't lie to us, you smashed Memento so much. I played Memento. What do you mean? I like the deck. Bro, I have a problem with you guys. You guys give decks like Memento grace, but when I talk about decks like Chimera, you're like, come on, guys. Y'all trying to cook me. I think this is maybe like 20% copy. Now, next, guys, is Mimighouls. Mimighouls is the TCG exclusive deck that is built on giving your opponent flip effect monsters and then flipping them yourself to be able to trigger their effects. You guys have never heard me say anything good about Mimighoul on stream, and it's because TJ is playing Mimighoul, okay? But now that he's nowhere near around, we can talk about it. I was day one Mimighoul believer. Okay, before you guys say that Mimighoul is bad, allow me to point a few things. One, when you give your opponent a Mimighoul monster and you force its effect to activate, it is your opponent activating an effect. So you can use cards like Triple Tactics Talent and Triple Tactics Thrust. You know I gotta do it. Two, since Mimighoul is a flip effect deck, you get access to cards like Whirlwind Weasel and Guard Dog, being able to literally obliterate your opponent's resources. Come on, chat. Come on, chat. Mimighoul can put Guard Dog on your field and flip your opponent's turn so they can't summon. That has to be good. Thank you. Someone knows. Did you know that Mimighoul can search out Harpy's Featherstorm and then make the Food Show card and then activate Harpy's Featherstorm to prevent them from activating monster effects? Bro, it's good. It's good. All right, chat. So that's Copium, but Ancient Gears isn't? You gotta be kidding me, man. Mimighoul is like my wallet. Disappointing. So hold on, chat. Hold on. Seriously. Mimighoul is Cope, but Ancient Gear isn't? Empty Jar is searchable in Mimighoul? Bro. Mimighoul sounds like what it is, a gimmick. You guys cope just as hard as me, and I gotta hear you guys' copium takes. Right now, I am still 1000% coping on Magical Musketeer. But until then, if you want to check out some other amazing videos, you already know what to do with that thing. Use these two as your guide to the next amazing video so I can catch you on the next one.